So the Fly Guys podcast is practical consciousness.
Well, if the Black community would accept and understand that that they're not going to tell us about those opportunities. It's not necessarily out of spite. They're just not going to tell us. Because as Black voters, we're the easiest to manipulate and the easiest to overlook.
Stay fly, stay fly. You're listening to The Fly Guy Show. They do everything on the fly and in such a fly manner. Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly. Stay fly.
All that party. The views expressed on the Fly Guy podcast by the guests of the Fly Guy podcast are only the views of the guests, unless we say we agree, unless explicitly stated.
All right, it's the Sand Cofa on December 27th, 2018. We have the lovely Miss Jackson, an esteemed panel of guests. Tonight we're going to talk about collective work. You know, tomorrow in Kwanzaa is collective work and responsibility. So we want to learn how we can work collectively to make political change, social change, and economic change. So we have Mr. Marcus Calabrese. He'll introduce himself. We have Sonia Phillips. She'll introduce herself. And we have Bert Bergen. Bert Bergen. We have Bert Bergen. All right, so Ms. Jackson, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody that came in tonight, especially our panelists, Sonia Phillips and Mr. Marcus Calabrese. I think I said it right, correct? Okay, so they're going to talk to us tonight about different things that we can do within our community, from social change as well as what we can do to get involved politically with this administration that we have and moving forward for the upcoming elections. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to them so they can go ahead and introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Z. Phillips. I'm the owner of Stretch Couture, custom clothing and costumes. I also serve on the board of the Hampton Roads Gazette. So it's a community service newspaper, and I did bring copies tonight to share with everyone. I'm a community servant, and the list goes on and on.
My name is Marcus Calabrese. I've been doing political and public relations consulting for about 9 years. I have a couple wins under my belt and on the peninsula and the south side, and just happy to share some insight tonight.
Excuse me, are y'all paying attention? Because it's really noisy in here. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Sonia. I do want to ask you, how would one go about getting involved socially if they want to make a difference in their community and they just don't know how to get started? What are some organizations out there? What are some of the needs in the community that people can pitch in to get started without having any kind of experience? But they just say, from feeding the homeless to helping create like drives for food and clothes and shelters and certain things like that.
I would say, in my own personal experience, I look within myself and see what things interest me, or see what things need change. One of the things I think about all the time is, be the change that you want to see. So often for me, it started in church. I know some people, go one way or the other, but it started with visiting the sick and the shut-in, just spending time with seniors, things of that nature. And as I got older, my mom, conditioned me to just be a helpmate to those in need. And so I would, if you have children, maybe talk to your children to find out what interests them. I have a little cousin, and she really likes to support the homeless and provide food that way. So perhaps just look at your own environment and see what you can do to help.
Okay. Do you know of any upcoming events that people can go to bring about change in the community? I know we have the NIA Fest coming up. Can you give us some information about that?
Yes. So on Sunday, December the 30th, we will have the NIA Fest at Military Circle Mall, located in Norfolk, Virginia. It's a free family event. There will be vendors. There will also be stage performers. There will also be a fashion show at 4 p.m. for those of you that would love to come out and see some of my work, along with about 8 other boutiques and designers. And one of the boutique owners is Trish from Fly Girl Boutique. And just recently, she blessed several ladies that were less fortunate with a shopping spree inside of her store. For example, her business model is everything is $25 or less in her store. So that gave her an opportunity to bless some young ladies that were less fortunate. So she took her business and used that to, help others. A good way to find community service events is to look in your local newspaper. The Hampton Roads Gazette is a community service newspaper. It's usually printed about every other month or so. We do have a website. But even just looking at the Sankofa Network and our other page, For Whatever, there's lots of community events that are shared there as well.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Marcus, I heard you just took on a new gig. What is it? With Seiko.
Oh, no. Seiko ran for school board. I helped him at the tail end of his campaign, and we did some media. I've just finished David Nygaard's city council race, which nobody thought was winnable. And we ended up beating a 12-year incumbent who pretty much the whole plan was for everyone to overlook him and ignore him until 7 o'clock on election night, and that's what happened. And by then it was too late.
Okay. I know I, for one, I've always had an interest in politics, but I just didn't know how to get started or what to do, or if I wanted to volunteer, say, at the polls or that sort of thing. What are some tips that you can give people that are interested in being a part of the political movement but don't know how to get started or where to go or the needs of the politicians? What would you recommend?
If you ever want to get involved with a politician or a campaign, one, just Google and see, who's running. You can look up the local Democratic Party, the local Republican Party, and somewhere on their Facebook page or their website, they'll have their candidates mentioned. But you just kind of get in where you fit in, but you see where you can bring the most value. I know they said at least up in Washington, D.C., there's a shortage of black staffers because they overlook black people when it comes to political staffing, and that's just what happens. So you have to find out what you're good at and see who you can bring value to.
I was shocked when I went to we went to the House of Delegates last year with Black Brand. That's the local black chamber of commerce. If people don't know who they are, and we did a caravan to the Capitol. And I didn't know that we could just go in there. We can go in there and we can see the House of Representatives. We can see Congress at work. They have children, I think, starting at the age of 12. I think they're called, what are they called?
Pages.
Those are things that I don't think we know about a lot in our community. Yeah. So what are your recommendations as far as children, getting them involved in politics and things like that locally?
Well, if the black community would accept and understand that they're not going to tell us about those opportunities. It's not necessarily out of spite. They're just not going to tell us because as black voters, we're the easiest to manipulate and the easiest to overlook. Until you start paying attention, it's not going to matter. But once you do look them up, once you look up whoever your councilman is or whoever your state delegate is, and there's a lot of us who don't know because there's a lot of us who don't care, and we fell for that trick, that they don't care and they don't care because we're not going to come out and vote, or we're only going to look for one particular type of candidate. So for instance, if I have to send Seiko or another candidate to a room like this or to a senior home, he's going to the senior home, because they care enough. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It did. I know I actually was invited recently to a mayor's youth commission. I didn't know those things existed until, and I get invitations now that I'm at a different level in my life with my career. I actually have a platform and I can use my platform to bring about changes in the community. But I'm shocked. my daughter's going into high school next year, and I'm like, you're definitely going to get involved in this. But I just wanted to know if there is something out there. Is there a website or a page or something that we can create to let people know what's available to them on the political arena, so that they're getting both across both sides of the party lines, or even if they decide they want to be nonpartisan?
Yes and no. I mean, there's the websites out there, there's the social media out there, and if you look and if you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. But you have to remember, when it comes to the political parties, a lot of them are run by volunteers, and like anything, it's built off of a network. So if I'm the congressman and you donate money, or if you are if you have some stature in your community, if your kid wants something, they're going to get it, versus someone else's child who just is interested. They're going to give it to someone that's of value to them. You get your answers by being valuable to the people who have if that makes any sense. Until you are willing to get involved and you're willing to look it up, it doesn't matter.
So something that I like to add to that, and Seika over there too, Project Inclusion, which is a leadership course that's sponsored by the United Way. That's an excellent way for adults to get involved, to learn how to serve on the board, and also to get involved in their community and just learn some things and get connected to some resources. And you mentioned traveling with Black brands to the Capitol. I did the same thing with the Urban League, and we had someone to arrange meetings for us with Ralph Northam at the time. He was lieutenant governor. With LeVar Stoney at the time. He was in a different position. But they let you know that there's a website out there that you can look in your city to see what boards and commissions have openings, and you can apply and serve locally. For example, I serve on the board of my civic league, and then there's a group that meets, that goes to the town halls, and they have initiatives and things. I'm just social media and events. I stick for the fun stuff, but the point is that there are opportunities to get involved at the local level and work your way up and learn about other ways to break into politics, if that's what your desire is.
Thank you. You answered that perfectly. I appreciate that.
I could get that information for you. I'm not sure the website myself, but I think each state, and I don't know if anyone in the room can collaborate, can confirm for me, but I think each city has a website that lists what committees and boards openings they have. And so if I remember correctly, I think you would probably go to the website of your city that you're interested in participating with and going that way. But one thing I can tell you that I learned as a resource person is 211 Virginia. That is the community resource number and it's a website too, but just like you would dial 911 or 411, anytime you need any resource, you can dial 211, and there's someone there that can help you find what resource you're looking for.
And we can also put those links in the Forward Ever on that page, as well as the Sankofa page, correct?
Okay. Yep, I sure can.
Well, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir. Well, I can speak on a realtor standpoint. We do have, and I don't know if if anybody's familiar with PACs, but I know I am on the Virginia Peninsula Association of Realtors. I am a part of that association, and we do have a PAC for realtors. It's called our PAC. And when it comes to things that involve real estate, laws pertaining to real estate, things to protections for consumers, protections for realtors, at that part we become nonpartisan, because we really care about what's going to be relevant to our cause. So just paying attention to the different issues, and that was a question I was going to ask him. What are some of the issues that are out there now that we need to be paying attention to that we might find on the ballots coming up?
Businesses, big businesses, large businesses, they play a role. It's great for small businesses because a politician wants to be seen at the local pizzeria and cutting a ribbon and going in and shaking hands. They call it retail politics. And then there are bigger businesses that make donations. Small businesses can make donations too. But business and politics they're pretty much one and the same. They're literally like twins. So they go together.
Absolutely, because you want to make sure that, again, these people affect your taxes and things of that sort. I live in Newport News, but my firm is actually in the city of Williamsburg. So I've been going to their economic development meetings. Okay, you have the mayor, you have the commissioner of revenue there, you have any and everybody that's involved in things that's going to affect the bottom dollar, and you actually get an opportunity to be involved in those things. You know what's going on, what needs to be done, and you can get that out there to the community. So going to those meetings, that's important. Showing up at city hall meetings, that's important. Making sure that you're, voting when you have to vote, because your voice really does matter. A lot of people say it don't, but it really does. So. Any more questions? Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out tonight to come and be a part of our collective edition. And say your brand one more time.
My brand is Stretch Couture, STRETCH, like stretch, and couture, like custom. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Sonia Z. Phillips on LinkedIn, www.stretchcouture.com.
Stay conscious. Stay fly.